MrBeast gives away millions, but fame isn't his goal. His crew embodies overlooked virtues, the kind that quietly changed the world. Let's dive into the 7 superpowers that fuel their success. These are the 7 heavenly virtues of the MrBeast gang. Charity. They say money can't buy happiness, but imagine what it could buy. A cure for a disease, food for starving kids, a roof over someone's head. MrBeast understands that power because he chooses to wield it. MrBeast isn't just a YouTuber. He's built an empire, but instead of hoarding his wealth, he's turned the whole concept of charity on its head. Beast Philanthropy, his nonprofit, isn't about pity. It's about radical change, donating thousands of Thanksgiving meals, setting up food banks, tackling homelessness. This isn't a feel-good side project. It's part of the brand. Let's talk about his now legendary 1,000 blind people surgery project. That's not just a huge donation. That's fundamentally altering lives. Or the time he built actual houses for the homeless. Not handouts, but real homes. That's charity as a superpower. But it's not just about throwing money around. Remember Team C's? 30 million pounds of trash removed from the ocean, funded by MrBeast's audience. That's charity as a movement, inspiring millions to act alongside him. We all know that MrBeast is charitable, but the next person who represents the next virtue might have been something you overlooked. From radical generosity to something different. Chandler Hallow, the guy most likely to end up covered in slime, wearing a ridiculous costume, or being the butt of some crazy joke. But here's the thing, that might just be his greatest strength. Chandler could play it cool, but instead, he chooses to be the constant punchline. Think back, awkward dance moves, terrible singing, losing every single challenge. It could be cringeworthy if it wasn't so calculated. See, Chandler's humility isn't about self-deprecation. It's about giving others permission to shine. By being willing to look foolish, Chandler takes the pressure off everyone else. Suddenly, they're free to try wilder ideas, take bigger risks, because even when things fail, Chandler's there to fail funnier. It's a silent signal. It's okay to laugh, to be imperfect, to just go for it. Don't underestimate the power of laughter. Chandler disarms tense situations, dissolves awkwardness, builds camaraderie. He reminds viewers and the rest of the MrBeast crew that even with millions on the line, it's still supposed to be fun. And you might see that as a very kind action, but now we need to talk about kindness. MrBeast does kindness big. That's part of his appeal. But there's a quieter side to his generosity that's just as important. A kindness that knows when to dim the spotlight. Remember when he tipped a pizza delivery driver $10,000? Or surprised random strangers with cars and cash? Those weren't planned stunts. Those were moments of pure human connection. He saw a need, an opportunity to brighten someone's day, and he acted without needing an audience. We see glimpses of this in the videos themselves, the way he interacts with his crew, not as a boss, but as one of the gang, offering words of encouragement, genuine celebration when others succeed, quietly stepping in to help when things go wrong. That builds loyalty deeper than any paycheck could. MrBeast isn't just handing out opportunities, he's actively developing those around him. Think about Chandler, awkward kid to viral sensation, or Carl, constantly encouraged to step outside his comfort zone. He sees potential and nurtures it. That's kindness as an investment in people. Despite fame that could warp anyone's perspective, MrBeast remains approachable, responding to fan comments, taking the time for genuine interactions with viewers. Remember, this all started because of the kindness he received early on in his YouTube career. He hasn't forgotten that. Kindness is an amazing trait of MrBeast, but now we need to talk about the diligence of Chris Tyson. Now, some of you might be thinking, diligence? That sounds kind of boring, but hold your horses, folks. In the world of MrBeast, diligence isn't about a 9-to-5 grind. It's about an unwavering dedication of making the impossible a reality. And the prime example of this is Chris Tyson, MrBeast's right-hand woman. Chris hasn't just jumped on the bandwagon. She's been in the trenches with Jimmy Donaldson since the early days of the channel. Think back to those first goofy videos, the ones before the millions of subscribers and insane budgets. Chris was there, plugging away, believing in the potential long before anyone else did. That right there takes a special kind of diligence. It's easy to be enthusiastic when everything's a smash hit, but staying committed when it's just you, your buddy, and a camera, that's a different story. Cut to the giant real-life Squid Game. Chris was instrumental in building that. the sourcing, the logistics, the sheer scale of it. That didn't magically happen overnight. Months of relentless work, figuring things out on the fly, refusing to give up, that's Chris's superpower. And it's not just about the massive projects. Chris's day in, day out work ethic is what keeps the MrBeast machine humming. She's always ready to roll up her sleeves for the camera, no matter how strange the task might seem. That's truly heroism, the kind that allows those crazy ideas to become a reality. A similar trait of diligence is temperance, and who better to represent that than Tariq? Temperance. You know those MrBeast challenges where people go wild, ready to do literally anything for money or prizes? That's where Tariq shines with his incredible temperance. Think about it, surrounded by chaos with contestants losing their minds. Tariq remains the voice of reason, keeping things fair and under control. He's got the internal thermostat that never overheats. There are a million scenarios where Tariq's composure is put to the test. Tariq never loses his cool. He doesn't get rattled or swept up in the frenzy. Instead, he uses a calm, measured approach that diffuses tense situations and keeps the challenges on track. But here's the thing about Tariq's temperance. It extends way beyond just the videos. This guy's been a key player in the MrBeast crew for years now. Sure, he's probably had lucrative opportunities elsewhere, maybe promises of his own spotlight, yet he's still stuck with the team, choosing the long game. That right there takes serious self-control. It's tempting to chase what looks like a quick win, but Tariq clearly sees the bigger picture. He knows that sometimes the greatest rewards come from being a steady, reliable force with something special. And what better represent that than the virtue of patience? That Nolan patience. Nolan, bless his heart, is often the MrBeast crew's favorite punching bag. Between the pranks, the constant ribbing, and being the target of some pretty outlandish challenges, this guy could easily crack, but that's where Nolan's patience shines through. Think about all the times he's been the butt of the joke. He might roll his eyes or give a sarcastic comeback, but underneath, there's a good-natured acceptance. Nolan understands it's all a bit of fun, and he's willing to play the part for the sake of the video and the team. That takes some serious patience. It's not just about taking the jabs, though. Remember, those challenges where Nolan gets pushed to his limits, eating the grossest food combinations, enduring ridiculous tasks, all for a chance at some prize. Through it all, he rarely loses his temper or gives up completely. There's a quiet determination behind his exasperation, a willingness to see things through. Nolan's brand of patience might not seem as dramatic as some of the other virtues we've discussed, but it's a crucial ingredient in the MrBeast formula. His ability to laugh, persevere, and go with the flow is an asset to the entire team. And who is the biggest asset of them all? Carl. Purity. In the high stakes, often outrageous world of MrBeast, Carl embodies a refreshing sense of purity. He's got his wide-eyed enthusiasm and a genuine heart on his sleeve sincerity that cuts through the noise. Think about those moments when he wins a challenge or gets a ridiculous gift. His reactions are pure, unfiltered joy, the kind you usually only see in kids unwrapping presents on Christmas morning. See, a lot of us get jaded as we get older. That childlike wonder fades. We start expecting the twist, questioning motives, looking for the hidden angle. But Carl, he's like a shield against that cynicism. He trusts openly, believes in the best of people, and finds genuine delight in even the most absurd situations. But don't mistake this for naivete. Carl's not blind to the craziness they unleash. Instead, he chooses to lean into it with a full heart. He believes in MrBeast's vision, but not because he's along for the ride, but because he genuinely thinks that giving away money or recreating Willy Wonka's factory brings crazy amounts of happiness to people. It's a purity of intention that fuels his infectious enthusiasm. So amidst all the wild stunts and giveaways, Carl reminds us of the simple power of joy and the goodness inherent in the MrBeast world. Speaking of which, do you think these virtues apply to other content creators? Can you think of any? Tell us in the comments who we should analyze next, and like and subscribe to the channel. So there you have it. The MrBeast gang isn't just about flash and fortune. Underneath the stunts, there's a solid foundation of virtues, diligence, temperance, patience, purity, and more. It's this mix of extraordinary and the quietly powerful that keeps us watching, keeps us cheering, and reminds us there's a whole lot of good behind the MrBeast machine. And now go forth and spread a little MrBeast magic of your own.